I didn't want to make this video. I've spent a lot of time in the past thinking about this subject and about whether I should make a video on it, about my own relationship to it. But recent events have made me decide that somebody that actually knows what they're talking about needs to speak on this. And, well, here I am. As you may or may not know, I'm autistic. As you most likely will not know, I have, over the years, struggled with my gender identity to an extreme. For several years, I considered myself female to male trans. I've gone through a lot of kind of thinking about my gender identity, and I'm still not entirely sure how I identify to this day. But I know firsthand what it's like to be a female-assigned autistic person questioning their gender identity. Would you like to know who doesn't? J.K. Rowling. Yeah, that's right. This is what this video is about. I'm sorry. But it's not entirely about J.K. Rowling, because the questions surrounding autistic girls and gender identity have been going around for a really long time. And to be honest, no one actually has the answers. In J.K. Rowling's now infamous Turf Wars blog post, she spoke about how autistic girls, using girls as in assigned female at birth, are overrepresented in those suffering from gender dysphoria. She's not wrong that we're overrepresented, but her stating that without any context is disingenuous. Would you like to know why autistic girls are overrepresented? Because we're autistic, JK. Okay? Autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder. And if you know anything about being transgender, you'll know that sex and gender are two different things. Sex is biological, gender is mental. It's neurodevelopmental. So, it doesn't take a genius to think, okay, autism's a neurodevelopmental disorder. Gender is something to do with the brain. Maybe the part of the brain that handles gender works in a different way in autistic people, much like parts of the brain which process words and language and sensory stimuli work differently in autistic people. But of course, J.K. Rowling didn't actually care about that. She wanted to use autistic girls as props in her crusade against trans women. And I will not let myself be used as a prop, because I'm a person, and autistic girls are people, and we have our own opinions, and we don't need a middle-aged cis woman who is entirely neurotypical telling us what we think. The Asperger's and Autistic Network makes a very good point, because something that I've seen floating around a lot surrounding girls, autism, and gender identity is the very question, but they're autistic. How can they know they're transgender? They're autistic. And, well, autistic people are still people, you numbnuts. Our brains work differently from yours, but our brains still work. And when we feel things, we are still capable of identifying those feelings and expressing them. Some more than others, but nonetheless, we are capable. This kind of, oh, but they're autistic, they don't understand, is incredibly, incredibly demeaning. Our brains work differently, like I said. They still work. Autistic people can know whether they're gay or transgender. I should know. And a lot of my friends who are autistic, who are gay, who are transgender, they also know. It seems the only people that struggle with this concept are older neurotypicals. Again, speaking on things they don't know the first thing about. Gender diversity and neurodiversity go hand in hand. Autistic girls specifically are more likely to be disconnected from the gender they're assigned at birth. And there are many factors that can go into this, and there hasn't been a whole lot of study done on it, mostly because nobody studies girls with autism. There have been very few studies about girls with autism because they're always focused on boys with autism. So how are we going to have studies of gender diverse girls with autism when we don't even have studies on girls with autism in the first place? So that's a factor. A second factor is that autistic people in general are less likely to feel the same strong desire to adhere to social norms that neurotypical people feel. That basically means that we'll see things as social constructs, like gender is a social construct, sex is biological, gender is in the head. If you don't agree with that, then I don't know why you're watching this video. Autistic people will see things that are social constructs, like gender or marriage or time, and they'll think, why? Like, what is the point of this social construct? Why is this here? Does this have any meaning to me personally and to my life? And if the answer that they find to that is no, which in many cases it is, we'll see no reason in following these social constructs because we see no logic, we see no reason, we see no point. We're less likely to go with the crowd or like what everyone else is meant to like. And sometimes, yeah, that can lead to people seeing us the wrong way. Some autistic girls are tomboys, doesn't mean they're trans guys. Some autistic boys are feminine, doesn't mean they're trans girls or they're gay or anything. But the thing is, when autistic girls specifically do identify as trans or gay, that is immediately shut down because they're autistic, and actually they're just a tomboy and they don't really know what they're talking about because, as we all know, autistic people aren't capable of higher brain functions. So basically the point of this video today was to say that the prevalence of neurodiverse people, specifically young people and children who suffer from gender dysphoria, is not something that should be used to erase the problems that we struggle with. An autistic person with gender dysphoria is still a person with gender dysphoria. Straight up. There is nothing that can change that. An autistic person with gender dysphoria still deserves treatment, and even if we don't know why there's a connection, we should still acknowledge that there is a problem. I'm not sure if I'm making any sense, but I'm really angry because I feel as though I and my community have been used. We've been used in J.K. Rowling's relentless crusade against anyone that doesn't conform to the gender binary based on biological sex. And before she tries to claim, Luna Lovegood was actually written as a autistic female icon. Like, no, she fucking wasn't. She was written as a weird girl. Just stop. I do not think that Rowling's comment about autistic girls came from a place of genuine care and wanting to know more about why we suffer at a higher rate of gender dysphoria than the general population. I think that J.K. Rowling knows that putting autism in anything will immediately make it seem less credible, because that is how the world views autism. And that's wrong. And it's wrong that she did that. And she probably won't see this because I have like 30 subscribers and I'm 17 years old and I'm a stupid kid on the internet. But hey, if she does, J.K. Rowling, we, as autistic girls, are not your props. We have our own thoughts. We have our own opinions. We don't need you to speak for us. And that goes for every single other neurotypical out there as well, especially if you're cisgender. So, Thanks for sticking with me through this excessively long rant. I hope you learned something, if there was anything to learn in this video. I hope you feel a bit more aware of some of the lesser known complications that come with being autistic. And I hope you know that we can speak for ourselves. We don't need you to do it for us. Thank you so much for watching my video. Give it a like if you thought it was any good. Subscribe if you want more rants and sometimes music. This started as a music channel. What is it now? Who knows? But yeah, thank you so much again. I love you all, and I'll see you next time.